I love the idea of making a pizza from scratch that doesn't require hours of proving. Jo, you're going to show us a potato version.
I am.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm Scottish. You know I love my potatoes,
love your
Justine.
potatoes.
So I thought, why not? It's kind of like a pizza, come hash brown, come rusty.
Yes.
I don't know,
Delicious.
it works.
Yes, yes.
Can you grate some potatoes for me
Of
then?
course. Now we're using these charisma potatoes. Skin off or on?
Skin on. So that skin on the potato, that's where most of the fibre is, and just under the skin, lots of the antioxidants and the nutrients. So whenever possible, even when you're doing mashed potatoes, I like to leave the skin on.
So these potatoes are 25% less carb. What does that actually mean?
Well, this relevance is really just for those people who are watching their blood glucose control. So perhaps you've got type 1 or type 2 diabetes, or perhaps you have problems controlling your blood glucose levels. For those people, you know, that means there's a lower glycemic load, you're going to absorb that carbohydrate, and there's going to be a more gentle rise in your blood glucose levels, essentially.
There you go.
But potatoes, people think they're really, really high carb, but honestly, especially, you're going to use 3 potatoes in this recipe, and it's giving a very small carbohydrate load. So if you're worried about carbs, please don't be. Potatoes are so nutritious. They have almost every single nutrient in there.
Potatoes are so good for us. I guess sometimes when we count all the veggies we need to have in one day, don't count the potato. But you count the potato too, because it's great for you.
Absolutely.
So what are you putting in that bowl there?
So we've got 1 egg is going into here, some Parmesan cheese, which is one of my favourite cheeses because it's such a good flavour. By the way, also the highest calcium cheese. Really good for your bones. Yeah. I'll put some salt and pepper. And then when you've grated your potatoes, what is important here is that you just squeeze out the water so we get rid of some of the moisture. So you can see just how much water there is in a potato. Now, of course, you could just throw that into a soup, or there are some nutrients in there.
We don't like to waste.
You do need to squeeze it out when you're doing this. Otherwise, you're going to end up with kind of a watery little base here. So when you've got that in there, give that a really good mix. And then I'm just going to add some extra virgin olive oil, of course.
Of course, we love our extra virgin olive oil.
That is adding your polyphenols, your good fats, and of course it all just binds this together and makes it a lovely golden brown. Smell that?
That's a good quality extra virgin olive oil right
That is the smell of really good extra virgin olive oil. And then just tip it into your pan, and I'm just going to use this frying pan because this is a frying pan that can go directly into the oven. But you could do this on a baking tray. If you don't have anything non-stick, then you can use some baking paper. But I do love doing it in this non-stick pan because I think it helps make the edges really, really crisp up. And then just make sure you're pressing it down into the bottom of the pan, which just helps it all stick together. And it's going to go in the oven for about 25 minutes, just until it's starting to look a little golden brown and crispy on the edges. But once we add our toppings, it goes back in the oven. So don't overcook at this point. That looks absolutely perfect. Let's pop it in the oven. So when that's nearly ready in the oven, I've got another pan on the heat here. And then just with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil again. And I've got some nice kale here, but you can use baby spinach if you're not a kale fan. I think the trick with kale is it does need to be cooked. And you could have those cherry tomatoes for me, please, Justine.
So this is not going to be a Hawaiian pizza, margarita. This is a breakfast style pizza.
So we're going to have greens and eggs, and I'm going to spice it up with a little dukkah and some fresh parsley, some feta cheese on the top. Who wouldn't be happy with pizza for breakfast, honestly?
Absolutely. So I've just halved those. Are you happy with that, or do you want them quartered?
Perfect. I like them halved. And then you could also crumble some feta cheese or get that ready to go.
Would love to.
So you don't have to cook your greens for long, particularly if you were using baby spinach instead. Literally less than a minute, just until it wilts. Kale you can do for a touch longer. It's a much more robust green. And I've just added a touch of salt. You can put some pepper. That is looking perfect. Can you grab the base out of the oven? And we are ready to assemble.
Oh, this looks great. I love how it's golden on the outside there.
And that's exactly what you want. So now we go with our toppings. I'm going to scatter, first of all, my lovely kale onto the top. So I've got a gorgeous greens base. And just like a pizza, leave a little bit on the side. And then kind of make 4 little wells. You can just use your, I'm actually 3 is going to be perfect on this. I've got a thing about uneven numbers.
Well, it looks better too, I think, in the pan.
Yeah,
when
I
you've
think
got
someone told me
uneven.
once, you know, you never put 4 flowers in the vase. It has to be 3 or 5.
Yep.
And, you know, I've kind of applied that to cooking.
Absolutely. Gorgeous eggs there.
So we pop our eggs in, just like you would when you were making a shakshuka or any kind of baked egg dish.
Yep.
And then you can go with your cherry tomatoes. Just scatter them over the top. And you can just use your kale to kind of make little, like it's a little moat, hold it all together.
Hold it together.
And then another of my favourite cheeses, 2 of my favourite cheeses in this dish.
Yep.
Some of this gorgeous feta,
Gee, this looks really
which
good.
is quite salty.
Which is quite salty.
And so I'm not going to add any more salt at this point. Now you can pop that back in the oven. It's going to go back in the oven for about 8 minutes. Start looking at it from 5 or 6 minutes because depending how you like your eggs done, if you want them to still be a little bit runny, oh my goodness, it takes 30 seconds to tip from being a bit runny to suddenly being hard. So
Don't go take a phone call. Don't go do your nails. Wait around for the eggs to cook.
watch the eggs cooking.
Wow, Joe, looks good.
Look at that, we actually nailed this. So that's exactly what you want. See how the white is just set, but there's still a little bit of runniness in the yolk.
Absolutely.
So slide it out. Now see how it's just like a pizza.
It is exactly like a pizza.
It's
Love it.
exactly like a pizza. Now I just like to, do you want to scatter a little dukkah or some za'atar, whatever you've got?
Fantastic.
A little bit of parsley
Yep.
on the top. Ooh. Shall we have a taste?
Absolutely.
Now, I know I did say I'm calling it a pizza, but I don't suggest that you pick it up if you've left your eggs runny.
Gooey.
Gooey eggs, that's what we want.
And I really want to try this pizza base. Potato pizza base. Joe, you're onto something here.
Yeah,
I like that.
I've transformed breakfast in your household.
Yeah, breakfast pizza. It is so good. Potatoes, we love them. And as we know, they're highly nutritious for us too.